are focusing on the impact of the AI. As a doctor, I would like to practice medicine, not to just go for typing, documentation. This is not what I do as a doctor. What we are trying to do is to bring life back to the doctors. They practice medicine, they enjoy their life. Let's make the AI do the other work, and even with better outcomes.
Welcome to Success Revenue Podcast, the only podcast in the Middle East that brings you leaders in customer success, account management, sales, and go-to-market to share ideas, perspectives, and valuable learnings on how to successfully drive revenue, delight customers, and take it to the next level.
We are your host. I'm Haidar Saad, CEO of RevSetter, the customer management platform. And with me, I have my amazing co-host, Ivy Ferrero, CS executive, leader, and advisor. And we're excited to bring you a long list of guests on this season of the Success Revenue Podcast. And today we have a special episode for you. We've only done this once before, but we have two guests that we're bringing in today from the health tech and healthcare space. We'll be talking about how AI can impact human productivity and amplify human and doctor impact within the healthcare space. We'll talk about the differences and nuances between markets like Saudi, Egypt, and the UAE in healthcare. And we'll also speak about the journey that founders and entrepreneurs go through and how that translates into their busy life and schedule. So we'll cover a lot of stuff during this episode, Ivy, which I'm very excited about. How are you doing? How have things been?
Yeah, been really good. Just, been busy building a customer success function in an exhibitions industry. So that's been
just a small thing, building a whole new organization from scratch.
yeah. But yeah, it's been really good. I love challenges and I love to build. So it's been amazing. How about you? How was your trip to Saudi?
Good. Yeah, same. I've been extremely busy with work. I was in Saudi this week. Was there 2 weeks ago. Again next week, and then Jordan for the event that we'll both be at, and then again traveling. So it's been a lot, but it's been good. It's just all the fun stuff. We launched, as you know, a new AI company as well. We'll have a ton of projects there, AI agents and agentic projects, and things that we're working on with some really cool companies. So just like you, staying really busy, but no complaints here. Rather be busy than not, right?
Yes, exactly. No, and I'm really looking forward to these podcast episodes to see how they're using AI to be able to essentially enhance the life of patients and also allow doctors to do what they do best, which is to really actually practice on patients. So why don't we go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's get our guests. So today I'm joined by two pioneers shaping the future of digital healthcare in the Saudi region, Nada Hassan and Amin El-Hami, co-founders of Nuxera AI. Together, they have built solutions that sit at the intersection of medicine, business, and technology, not just making healthcare smarter, but more human. Nada brings more than 19 years of experience across pharma, health tech, partnerships, and marketing, with a rare gift for seeing what others overlook and turning it into systems that work. And Amin, with his deep leadership in telemedicine and patient acquisition, has spent over a decade transforming care delivery across Egypt, Saudi, and beyond. What I admire most about them is their shared belief that AI isn't the product, better outcomes are. And they have built with that philosophy at the core. Nada and Amin, welcome to the show.
Welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to have you.
Likewise, happy to have you guys here, and thanks for inviting us for the show today. We are super excited to have this conversation with both of you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Ivy. Thank you for the intro. Thank you, Haidar. Yeah.
I mean, do you want to kick us off? Tell us a little bit more of where are you from, where are you based, and how did you ended up in the sort of industry and position that you're on right now?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivy. So basically, it's a coincidence because originally I'm Egyptian, but actually I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia. So all my childhood and school time was in Saudi Arabia. Then I went back to Egypt to study the pharmacy school, which is basically, it's a mixture between the medical part and the business part as well. So yeah, born and raised in Saudi, spent my youth in Egypt, started my career as well in Egypt. Then the diversity came up between Saudi, Egypt, sometimes UAE. But yeah, as you know, that Saudi, Egypt is almost only a Red Sea in between, and the culture is so much mixture between them. So this is actually make up the main characteristics of how we do business and how we think of the two countries, which is this basically reflects on how we actually made some sort of impact on the healthcare industry.
Hmm. I mean, I gotta ask you, did you have to take organic chemistry 1 and 2 when you went to pharmacy school?
It's almost 17 kind of chemistry, but I can bet that one of the most difficult one was definitely
Oh my
organic
God.
chemistry. First year, by the
Once
way.
That's so crazy. Once upon a time, I also wanted to become a pharmacist. And no, when I got to organic chemistry 1, I dropped out. I was like, no, this is not for me. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing. And Nada, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where are you from? Where are you based? And how did you ended up where you're at?
That's very good thing to start with. Actually, I'm now currently based in Saudi Arabia, but I'm based between Egypt and Saudi Arabia for the past like 3 years. With most of my current focus now in Saudi, where Joxera is expanding. And actually, when my background started as in pharmacy, I quickly found myself, no, this is not me. So I was drawn to the business side of the healthcare, the partnerships, the strategy, the marketing, and all other functions. And over the last years, I have built a path. It crossed between pharma and health tech, and currently the AI, because it's the upcoming era. So, what entitles me of all of the curiosity I have about the science and technology is now to turn this into real things that work out for people, patients, healthcare systems.
Wow, I love that. Amazing. And tell us, Nada, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Noxera AI?
So actually at Noxera, currently I'm the chief commercial officer and co-founder with my two co-founders, Amin and Asad. My role is all about how we can build the trust with hospitals, regulators, and the market to make sure that the technology translates what we want into a real value. So we have a flagship product called Sarah. Sarah listens to the natural Arabic doctor-patient conversations and turns this into a structured, billable, ICD coded notes. We also have Talk to Your Data that allows the hospital leaders to ask questions in a very natural language for the systems they have at the hospitals. And it can help them make the data analysis very easy. And it's like, from as we always pitch it, like Canva for non-designers, it's Talk to Your Data for non-data analysts. Let's tell you about the journey that it's not linear actually in Noxera. We are moving to have to work to be as a hub for any AI hub for any healthcare facilities, so that we can tailor the solutions, the AI solutions for them, so that it helps them all the way to integrate the AI into their daily workflow.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, tell us a little bit more about the role that you also play at Nuxera.
Yes, sure, which is the most annoying role, which is the CEO and the co-founder. So it's it's always a start. What I call it's the chief blaming officer. So you need to get you are the boxing bag all the way. So anyone would like to punch something, just come to Amin and punch him. So yeah, let me tell you more about the journey actually, and the role, and how I met Nada in the first place. So basically, we are three co-founders, as Nada mentioned. We started the company together. However, I met Nada maybe like 10 years ago. During she was working at one of the pharma companies. I was working at one of the health tech companies, and we were offering her a solution. And actually, it was not nice meeting at all. But out of this meeting, maybe 3 years later, I invited her to be our co-founder and deputy CEO for the telehealth solution. And now, after such journey, we started another journey together, which is Noxera. Again, Noxera, it's a teamwork. It's a vision, and it's a way that how we make healthcare accessible, how to use the
Mhm.
digital AI to make it more easy for the healthcare provider, and definitely for the patients, because all the stakeholders are evolving around the patient, which is that our main passion, our main concern to make the life better for everyone. So our vision basically it's how to make the outcomes positive outcomes and impact in our lives using the tools that we have. So previously when I say like in 2012 or more than 10 years ago, it was the era of the mobile applications and internet. And at that time, we used that such tools to build, for example, booking platforms, telehealth platforms. And now with the progress and we having AI, as Nada mentioned, now we are focusing on the impact of the AI, which is, for example, for the documentation, one of the greatest pain for the doctors. So doctors, they like spend 20-30% of their time on daily basis just on documentation. And as
Oh,
a doctor, I would like to practice medicine, not to just go for typing, documentation. This is not what I do as a doctor. So what we are trying to do is to bring life back to the doctors. They practice medicine, they enjoy their life. Let's make the AI that do the other work, the administrative work for them, and even with better outcomes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's a very interesting journey that you guys have had and how that kind of all came together. And definitely, I love that vision of how AI can impact getting doctors and healthcare professionals back to what they actually are meant to do, which is treating patients, doing the medicine, and not spending all their time on administrative tasks and these things. And I know, and one of the companies I run, Nebulous, which is an AI agent company, we have customers in the healthcare space as well and other industries, but in the healthcare, a big part of the agents that we build for them that they use our platform with is just for that processing documents, matching workflows, and these things. So it's such a big time saver for them. So I think that's a great way of kind of amplifying the human impact through the technology, which is awesome. And I wanted to actually a question for both of you guys a little bit, because as you were talking about your journey, how you met, as someone that myself also have gone through that journey and started businesses, and again, the founder in my current life also, there's always that moment in time when as a founder or a co-founder, you kind of decide, okay, it's time for me to go my own path. It's time for me to maybe, leave the nest, the security of working for a bigger corporation or a company as an employee, and now let's kind of go on my own path. I'm curious about when was that moment for each of you when you decided, okay, now this is the right time, this is the right reason for me to do this and go on this journey wherever it leads me. I'm curious from both of you when that moment was, if there was a moment, and kind of your thought process around it.
Actually, for me, when I was in the senior marketing role in one of the pharma companies, and I met Amin, and he asked me if I can join them for the co-founding of Istishara, the telemedicine platform. I asked myself, that was like a moment that forced a big
Hmm.
question for me. Do I
Yes.
have to keep climbing this ladder, or do I need to build a new one? So choosing
mm,
to build and lead to co-found Istishara and now Noxera, that was a big shift and a huge one
Mhm.
for me.
Yeah.
Instead of being a player in a system, I became a builder for it. And actually, that means like when you meet someone and actually it completely changes your life. So from systems, pharma systems, and everything that is really in place to the startup world, ecosystems, entrepreneurship, that's completely different, but I found myself there.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. How about for you,
Yeah,
Amin?
yeah, sure. But I would like to ask Nada first. How do you find the journey after like 6-7 years and jumping from the corporate ships?
Actually, amazing, amazing one. I really enjoy the daily life I'm doing now. Even it's not now I'm doing work. It's like we are building something, and actually
mm.
enjoying this with the team really surrounded with now, and the team we are even getting in place for the Noxera. Actually, this makes a big difference in my life, even from the personal thing. In so much enthusiastic now about what we are doing.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Nada. And I actually thank you, Haider, for the question. I can write a book about it. I can. It's
Course,
not
yeah.
just a, a statement about when you decide to move or redirect your ship from, for example, the corporate to jump into startups, or at the moment that you need to build your own startup. Actually, it's let's have it on a breakdown. The first one, which is when I decided to make that jump from the corporate to startups. Actually, it was back in 2015. I was used to work for corporates, multinational companies in the pharma industry. And one of the main challenges was if you would like to change something, you need to get a lot of approvals from the local, regional, and global. And it's not quite an easy thing. And by the way, the life is corporate. I'm not saying that it's bad or the life that startups or building something is better. No, it's not the case. But sometimes you have the capabilities that you fit more in here or there. So it's nothing about right or wrong. But at that time, I got an opportunity, a call from, I cannot forget that, from Amir Parsoom. I was recommended to him by someone. Then I met Ahmed Badr, the chief operating officer and co-founder of Visita.com. And for me, it was a great opportunity. Why? It was the complete opposite, or the opposite of the corporates into just you have an ideas you would like to implement, just break things, go fast. It doesn't matter. Let's do the next big thing, which was at that time the Visita. And I was so much proud because it's actually shaped a lot in my career. I can recall when a time when I was speaking to my mentor Ahmed Badr. Was the chief operating officer and co-founder of Visita, and I told him about the new idea. He told me, Amin, don't you think this is the time to build it by your own? And it was like, wow, what? Didn't come into my mind. Is it possible? He mentioned, yes, and we will support you even from the company. So I took the step. I did the research. I pulled up my sleeves, and let's go and do it. And I can tell you, it's a real roller coaster. Sometimes, some days, yeah, we are in the peak. Then the next day, we are in the valleys. There is a big commercial deal that we are about to close. It doesn't come. And at the next day, wow, something coming from nowhere. It's a roller coaster. And actually, this gives us a great lesson. And maybe after, like we are talking now about like 10 years in the industry, if you get a really good news, don't overjoy. It's okay. If you get a really bad news, again, it's okay. Don't overjoy, don't oversad. This is life. Just be in between to so you can accommodate whatever happens and in your journey. So again, back to your question, yes, it's a moment. And I can promise anyone who would like to join such building new thing, you're gonna enjoy it, but don't raise your expectations regarding a typical stable life. It's a roller coaster, and you get to get adapted to that.
Amazing answers, and yeah, it's definitely it's a journey. It's a moment to decide, but it's really a journey that is a lot of ups, a lot of downs, building. But it's for the people that have that mindset is something that is extremely exciting as well. And like Neda, like you said, you're building versus working for something. You're building something. You're building the system versus being part of it, which is a huge driver and motivator, I think, for a lot of people that are founders or have built startups or are part of startups in the early stage. That sense of purpose, I think, is a good way of putting it, is really strong often. But it's definitely a roller coaster. It's not for the faint of heart, as I always say. You have to be able to take the valleys and the peaks with stride, and always kind of stay consistent there. And it actually leads me to another thing I was thinking about, because now you guys are branching into AI with Nexera, and really focusing in on that. And one thing that I believe kind of as part of your message and core belief there is you want to be a human-centered, a human-centric AI partner for your customers, because we're working with people at the end of the day. It's with doctors, dealing with patients, and it's a very human endeavor. But how do you, for anyone really that is building in the AI space, or that considers themselves being an AI provider of some sort, whether that's service, software, etc., on a day-to-day basis, how do you kind of stay consistent to that vision, human-centered, while delivering AI that can sometimes be a little bit scary, maybe it creates some uncertainty, is it going to replace things, is it secure, and so on and so forth? How do you guys on a day-to-day basis ensure that you're staying true to that main vision and not really just becoming another AI tool that is just branded as AI doing some things, but really is not amplifying the human impact. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Let me take it from here, and definitely the expert and the science will speak on a parallel way from Nada, because she's now, I think she's a Harvard student, mashallah. So yeah. So let me tell you something, and the difference that we learn from the past and now. Usually, from entrepreneurial spirit, you see a problem, then you build a product, or you build a product that you think that's going to fit the market and to solve a real pain. And sometimes you go with the hype, as I mentioned, for example, mobile application, or for AI solutions too. I'm building a product that I would like to sell it. The story that we are in its journey right now is somehow different, because Sarah, or the ambient scribing, actually came out of a very, very big research. It was sponsored by a very big entity in the Middle East. Not only, and I had the pleasure that I was participating in such very big research. It was in Saudi, Egypt, North Africa, South Africa. We were looking for what is the greatest pain that in the healthcare ecosystem. So we went to interview a lot of doctors. For example, we interviewed more than 150 doctors. We interviewed nurses, patients, lab technicians. So we tried to meet everyone in the ecosystem, every stakeholder, even the insurance companies. And one of the most important thing that we found when we asked all of the stakeholders, if you have a magic wand and you would like to solve something, let me give you some answers. I will call some patients. From patients, I would like to have an access to all my data. I don't want to go to the doctor and speak to him about my history. I would like just the doctor know my history and everything. When you meet the doctors, they mention, oh, the greatest pain for me, I need to look at the patient's history and I don't want to type. Let me tell you, in Saudi, for example, still typing, and Egypt or North Africa, emerging markets, still using pen and papers. So, and for the insurance, we would like everyone to be compliant with our regulations, which is including coding, and makes their life and our lives easy. So when we blend all of this together, and we came back to them with a solution, that what if there is a solution, an assistant that can co-pilot you whenever you go, for the doctors or for the patients or for the insurance, and can help you. They mentioned, wow, this is the solution. And we would show them the prototype, which is the ambient listening for the doctors. Yes, this is going to help the doctors, the insurance companies, the facilities, and even the patients. And this is just the start, that when we bring the AI as a tool to have the impact, not creating an AI hype or AI product and we try to sell it. So we use the current tools, and then we did the fine tuning, training, validation, so we can have it to be compliant with regulations, with local, and to localize it with the sub dialects. As you know, from Arab countries, we have more than 28 sub dialects. The Gulf, the North African, the Egyptian. So it understands what we are saying, and to be real assistant for the doctors, and with the direct impact on their lives and the facilities, insurance, and the patients. Definitely, this is what we usually do, even on daily practice. We have a great mind, which is Nada. Nada, she's trying to cope directly with development, with the AI tools. Asad at the kitchen, he's cooking the recipes and how to create the products that's fitting with the client's need, with the market needs, and definitely this all should be supported with science. So I'm so proud that Nada, yes, she's in Harvard now to make it on a scientific basis. Go ahead, Nada.
So thanks, Amin, for this. And actually, it's my first time to have a podcast with Amin, and actually, it's completely different. I didn't think that it would go that way, because actually, although all the time we are like having the ping pong conversations, but actually in this podcast, and for in business, and in building what we are doing, actually we are creating a very harmonized team, and we are sharing the same vision for everything. So the thing is, as Amin mentioned, the AI is not as people are thinking of. It's not replacement of humans. And actually, for the healthcare systems, which is a very complicated system, in fact, and it's unique for each country, and it's even unique at some facilities, like the governmental sector versus the private sector. So that the AI here, what I can see is it creates sustainability for the daily work routine for the users. Either the users are healthcare professionals or nurses or admins or whoever, but actually the sustainability is the main point. Because actually, as Amin mentioned, for the documentation, it takes like 30% of their time and their routine. For the data analysis, it takes ages for people, group of people, ages, time, cost to get like a report of 120 or 130 KPIs for the CEO. So here comes the pain. So the AI is not replacement for these people. It's like an assistant that helps them get the things done easiest way, more accurate, and with definitely less cost. So the pain we saw at the doctors, brilliant doctors, spending hours and hours on admin work, not focusing on the patient at all. So that was not sustainable. That's not fair. So once we saw that cost to everyone in the healthcare ecosystem, we built Noxera to support them with whatsoever solutions, starting with Sarah and talk to your data, but whatsoever solutions that can help the users, the stakeholders in the ecosystem, we know that work couldn't wait to build it for them.
One more thing, it's if you need to keep up with the updates in the AI, it's almost impossible. Every day we have a tremendous amount of updates. And only one thing, just we are saying that as a team. Focus on the pain, get the solution, make the AI tool to help us, not the AI is not the objective, it's not the goal. It's to have an impact within our ecosystem.
I love that. And thank you for sharing the tool. It seems amazing. And one thing that I really love about AI is that now we have the possibility for all of us to stay in our zone of genius and stop doing all of this like tedious work that we don't want to do anywhere. Like in the company that I work at, there's so many people that are spending their times updating Excel spreadsheets and being very careful about things that they can mix up, that really has no that has a lot of human error possibilities. And so yeah, it really excites me that AI has entered the healthcare. And in this same question, Nara, you mentioned that the healthcare systems are very complicated. They're because we're dealing with a lot of sensitive information as well. I wanted to ask you, what did early stage resistance to digital health look like in the Saudi region? I'm assuming that there was like some resistance to trusting AI in per se.
A very good question that tackles more than one point, Evie. Actually, starting with let's start with the Saudi 2030 vision. Actually, for the Saudi 2030 vision, it is like a race where everyone is trying to catch the 2030 vision with whatever updates can help reach this great vision to have everything automated, digitalized, or even with AI solutions to make it better. So that's the basic foundation each and everyone in Saudi Arabia is working towards. The thing is regarding the healthcare systems itself. So the vision is there, but again, the systems are complicated, and it's not ready from the foundational part to receive AI and to incorporate AI immediately into the system. So what we do is that we draw a workflow for this. It doesn't have to be all immediate and all at like a glimpse of an eye. So actually, what we do is that we integrate the AI into the workflow, so it helps getting things better, make things with impact. However, it's not a great change to each and everyone in the healthcare system. The thing is, we do this by champions at the healthcare facilities. We cannot do this on our own. we are partnering with the healthcare facilities. We need to have champions from inside the healthcare facilities to support the vision of the AI that we are doing in the revamping of everything we are doing. So actually, it is not about resistance, but it's about the readiness of the systems. So once the system is ready, and this is what we are trying to help people there to make the system ready to accept the AI, and we work this like with flesh and blood to make it ready. Then we start moving forward to integrate the AI systems into the daily workflow there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Completely makes sense. And I'm kind of curious, Nada, from leading from all your experience that you have working in big corporations in pharmaceuticals to co-founding Nuxera AI, you've clearly crossed borders, sectors, and different roles. When it comes down to personal or invisible skills or value that have helped you thrive through all of these stages of your life, what do you think has been the most valuable to you? What sort of skills or values have helped you through it all?
You know, Evie, that was something I was born with, but I didn't discover until I met Amin. We co-founded Istishara, and I found myself this person who has the invisible skill of the pattern recognition. So
Mm.
I can see the connections where others see silos, actually. Like in pharma, it meant like linking the marketing with patient impact. That was something like that doesn't make any sense at that point. But after being an entrepreneur, co-founding such amazing startups, specifically in Saudi, it means understanding how the cultural nuance affects the AI adoption. And the value it always carried me through is the resilience. It's not just pushing forward, but it's also about adapting until it works. So this is the thing that I can see I can do good in that area.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, resilience in the world of startups or building is maybe one of the most, if not the most important thing, honestly, because you have to be resilient through those ups and downs that we talked about before. And speaking of that ability to change or adapt and be resilient as you face different kind of challenges, etc. I mean, I want to go to you here. You obviously have worked and built in Egypt. Now you guys are doing it in Saudi. You talked about experience from the UAE and other markets across the GCC. And I think one thing that's interesting for our audience is always half of our audience is actually in the US and half are in the Middle East. And we have people spread out across the world listening to these to our episodes. But coming from the West, for myself most recently, people looking at the Middle East, they think about it as one market. It's the Middle East. It's one market. It's one approach. As we all know, that is far from the truth. Saudi, in terms of business, the market is very different than the UAE or in Egypt, and so on and so forth. Each market is different. How have you kind of learned to adapt to the different markets, to the different challenges and the nuances when it comes to securing support, acquiring customers, establishing business in the different markets across our region here? Are there any learnings that you've kind of found or methods that work really well as you've been in different markets?
May I add something to your question to your question, Haider?
Yeah.
Because we have the magician here for fundraising. We need to ask him how he does this. Because actually he is brilliant in this.
Amazing.
Brilliant one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you,
absolutely.
Nada, and
Absolutely.
thank you, Haider, for the question. And it's maybe a simple question, but not an easy answer, by the way, because
Correct.
as you mentioned, one of the main characteristics, and this actually we learned that by hard way, not the easy way, which is the resilience. Resilience is one of the. If you ask me what about the main character or characteristics for any entrepreneur, I would say resilience. Not to overjoy, not to oversat. You need to sail your ship and the tough wins and the easy wins. So how to be resilient all over that. For anyone from the western part of the world to come into the Middle East, it's definitely the countries are not the same. even we feel when we say similarities between the GCC countries like Saudi, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, now the market inside is really different. In some countries, you're going to see that the public part is the most important. Maybe we go for another country, you see the private is more dominating. Some countries, you're going to see some regulations are high, some somehow flexible. When you go into North Africa or in Egypt, for example, it's totally different. So back to your question, definitely I echo what you said, that you need to understand market by market and where actually you would like to take your first traction to prove something and to go to the other market. If you would like to navigate such markets and to have your first traction, which we call it a market access, it's very important to consider multifactorial things, because there is no straight answer that I can answer. Yes, do the equation of 1 + 1 = 2. It never happens. But you have to have some factors that may guarantee some sort of success, which is, I would say, number one and the most important thing, your team. So who are your co-founders, who are your team, who's going to help you on navigating such ocean or such sea. So I can say that I'm blessed with my team. The second thing, who is your partner? When I say partner, I'm not only mentioning the team, I mention the investors. Are they a typical investor who is just injecting money and waiting for the results, or they are a real partners who, yes, they inject some capital, but they navigate with you? For example, they have the connections or the wealth of connections that gonna ease your entry. They are, for example, strategic partners that gonna ease your journey within the country. This is the second thing. The third thing, the local partners that you are going to work with to navigate, for example, the regulations, navigate the clients, navigate how you are going setting up your country and your company within the country. So it's a multifactorial thing, and my advice is to have the right mix between them. You cannot neglect any of these parts. The right team, without a backed up team that you know that your bank is always protected and we are working together, that we are with a one heart of a man, that we are doing the job. The partner or the investor, and I'm here, I can say I'm so much proud of partnering up with the Sanabil by Redesign Health. And it's another chapter of the journey, which is how we met them, how we found out that yes, this is the right combination between founders and investors, between Redesign team, Sanabil's team, and how we went through such journey. And the third thing, definitely the local partners. And I'm so proud again and I have to mention that Ahmed Al Hamidi, my brother, he's and his company was really the right partner to navigate within the Saudi country.
Yeah.
Again, it's not an easy journey. You need to be super prepared for that. You need to be agile enough, flexible enough, and definitely resilient enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, the team, the partners, what they help you do is understand the nuance of the market. They help you build the right trust, the right relationships, the right approach to each market as an individual one, which is just so critical. Otherwise, it's kind of, you take the copy and paste approach. This worked here, should work over here, which never is the case, or you generalize and you go in with kind of your perceptions of the market versus the reality of the market itself. So those are, I think, some really important points that you bring up. I mean, thank you for that. And staying a bit on that topic of the outside perspective into these markets, and maybe if we focus in a little bit on the Saudi market in particular, which is a massive market, it's growing. It's as someone that spends a lot of time with my businesses in Saudi, it's a really exciting market. You can really feel the energy across industries. We work with many industries across industries. You feel the energy of Vision 2030, the kind of entrepreneurial feeling in the country. But there's also definitely pockets where there's still adoption happening. And I'm curious, when it comes to digital health in general, it doesn't need to specifically to your company or that type of solution, but when it comes to digital health, what are some of the biggest maybe blockers or challenges still that you see in the market for it to really unlock fully? because we all know the benefits of rural areas getting access to healthcare faster, efficiency, and all these different things are really great with it. But I'm sure there's some blockers still in the way. What are some of those things that you guys have seen through your research, through your work, or just in general being part of that industry in Saudi?
Yeah, yeah. Let me take this. Let's also break down regarding this question. Number one, Saudi, and the digital part. Actually,
Okay.
one of the most important factors when we took the decision to be in Saudi, it was about the market itself, from the governmental and the leadership of this country who actually have the vision and the vision of 2030, and the very big vision is to transform this country to be on the top or the and in the race in a very very a good position in terms of digitization of everything. And when we take this part and to go to the healthcare, which is a super duper regulated industry, because we are talking about health, we are talking about patients. So it's not an easy thing to navigate or to make the transformation into the digital transformation in different aspects. However, in this country, you're going to see, for example, there is an entity by itself that is responsible for the digital transformation. At every corner, in any hospital or cluster, you're going to find a digital transformation team. The thing mainly is about the adoption and the readiness of making such transformation and the impact out of it. So to adapt a new solution, or with the hype of AI, even if you can see the impact by your own eyes, you need to have, as Nada mentioned before, the champion. Who's going to be the champion internally, not from your company, from the facility itself, who's going to encourage the change to make the dream into reality from the facility perspective, not only from the company's perspective. You can have the greatest solution, you can have the magic wand, but no one can adapt that if you don't have the champion or the sponsor inside who's going to sponsor such change. To your question, in general, if you are talking about the blockers of having that, the traditional blockers of, for example, the urban versus rural and the internet accessibility, and for example, who's going to adapt in main cities versus the rural areas, this is not typically in Saudi Arabia. You can see that in so many countries around. But Saudi, the amazing thing about it, that when you deal with the different territories from the north, the south, east, and west, you can see that all of them, they are speaking one language, one vision, that yes, we would like to do that, provided that you are having a real impact on the system, and definitely on the patients when we talk about the healthcare industry. And at the same time, other factors which is very important, which is, for example, the readiness of the solutions is there, the budget is there, which is very important thing, and you are willing, or you have the proof that you have the continuity of what you are talking about. Because one of the drawbacks of, there is a lot and a lot of startups, and even we can consider that some sort of hiccups in the road, because we are not the first, we are not the last. You're gonna find a lot of people went to some providers, or the public or even the private, and they made some promises, and when you show up there, and I'm speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs from this podcast, maybe somebody or other startups they went before, but the thing is, if they don't deliver, or they didn't deliver what they promised, this is the issue for you. You need to prove that you can do it, and you are having that continuity. And from this particular point, it's very important to consider your partner to have
Mm.
such a workaround, or to overcome such obstacle. But again, Saudi is different. The digitization of digital transformation is everywhere. If you are ready, I promise that they are ready for that.
Mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Nada, now I wanted to kind of take you on a different direction. As a woman, I always look up to women that have made it to a leadership position, because sometimes women, we feel like we have to own this part of us or have this fire and show power in order for us to get a seat on a table where it's like primarily male dominated, right? And so I wanted to ask you, you've clearly have built credibility across male dominated industries and in different countries. What has power looked like for you, and how have your relationship with your own inner power changed as you have climbed the ladder and built a ladder for yourself? And like I mentioned, like you've actually gained a seat on the table where it's mostly dominated by males.
Evie, I love these kind of questions because actually it touches something inside me. So I think actually I learned that so much early. Watching my mom, she was the only woman on her leadership team. And by the way, she's working till now and she's 74. She carried herself with strength and clarity along the way of her journey. And she showed me that the power is not just about the position, but it's about the presence, the resilience, and leaving the door open for others to follow. That example shaped the way I even lead today. In the beginning, let me tell you that the power to me meant proving myself twice as hard, sometimes in silence, even, because that's a male dominated culture, just to earn a seat at the table. And with time, I realized that real power isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about having a vision to be so clear and actions to be so consistent. So people around you wouldn't ignore that. Today, I can see the power as something bigger even than myself. It's about it's about creating a space for women, even for younger voices and for unconventional ideas that challenge the status quo of the whatever we are doing. And let me tell you that the true power isn't what you hold into, it's what you unlock in the people around you.
Mm,
And that's the kind of power that I guess can transform industries and societies, specifically
mm,
for women. And one big thing for me is a big motive. I wanted my family and my kids to be proud of me all the way. So this is my mom, this is my wife. She's a strong one who is resilient, powerful, and can lead. And not only about leadership, but to give an impact on what she's doing.
mm. That's beautiful. And Nada, what is one thing that you believe younger women building careers in Saudi need to hear more often?
Let me tell you, Evie, again, it's about how to inspire and give the courage and the vision.
Mm,
So actually, the ladies in Saudi Arabia now, every single day I meet very inspiring younger women building careers in Saudi. And I guess it's not an easy thing to balance between work, life, and being a mom at some point. It's something that is really tough on every single female. I guess it comes again from, I don't want to repeat myself, but again from resilience and persistence to
mm,
show up again and again, to, it's tough. And honestly, it's you need to find a motive for yourself. And what I can see that inspires me in the Saudi market, it's the unique balance between two things: the traditions as one side and the openness and the progress on the other. And actually, this is a very unique thing about the Saudi market. There is a deep respect for women here. You cannot imagine. Very deep
oh,
respect for females. And at the same time, incredible space for women to evolve, lead, and shine. So the balance here in the Saudi market is something that I can see supports the woman and it helps them find a space in the work here in Saudi.
wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's so great to hear. I don't know if it's if I would say the same in Dubai. If there's equality in Dubai as much as from what I'm hearing in Saudi. So it's really, really nice to hear that.
Yes, thank you for that. No, that's great. I was actually in Saudi this week, so I was there for National Day. So it was very interesting to see all of the pride around the country. The day everyone was out, we're stuck in traffic for 2 hours coming back in the evening because everyone kind of was with the flags out and the fireworks and just enjoying the day collectively. So that was very cool to see, actually, to experience national days in different countries, which I've done a few randomly because I've been there during those days and times. It's always very interesting, but it was very powerful.
You had to see me in thobe. I was wearing thobe.
Yeah, so everyone's out. Everyone's very excited. We made the maybe the choice that we regretted after to go to the boulevard area, and then going back in the evening. It was a lot of traffic, but it was fun. It was actually fun to see all the cars and kids hanging out of the roof and the sides and the flags everywhere on the freeway. So it was a very cool experience. A very definitely one that we experienced the Saudi pride around their country. And you see that in business as well, and the vision and the progress that is being made. And there's still progress to be made, I think, in a lot of areas, but there's been a lot of progress, and they're moving as a country and towards the vision that they have for 2030 and beyond, of course, as well, which is really cool. Amazing, guys. So it's been an absolute pleasure so far in this conversation. What we'd like to always do before we wrap up here, and time has really flown by today, is we always want to do a quick, what we call lightning round. Where we're going to ask some quick questions with quick answers back to get your thoughts on a few things here. So what I'm thinking, since we have two guests here, I'm going to throw out the question, just get one answer from each of you for that question, and then we'll jump on to the next one. Does that sound good? Are you guys ready for lightning round? Excellent. So we'll start that off very easy here. We'll talk about really interesting and deep topics. This one we'll start easy. What's currently your favorite content to consume? A favorite book, podcast, something? What's the favorite content right now for you to consume? Whoever wants to start.
So actually, I'm a reader. One book that really I enjoyed for like the past month was Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I don't know if you had time to read it, but I
It's a good
love isn't just the book itself, but actually the entire career for Mel herself. How she reinvented herself, turned setbacks into strength, how she translated the lessons into a framework so that she helped others even to use. So it's for me, it's an inspiring and a reminder that leadership is again less about control. It's about letting go and trusting people and the processes to
Mm,
evolve.
excellent.
beautiful.
Great recommendation. And Amin?
Author Robin Sharma. I love his books. Yeah, for podcasts, definitely two local things. Number one, Thamania, which is Sawalif Business, and from Egypt, Al Mal Al Halal for Nagati is doing a really good job there.
Very nice. Great recommendations. All right, second question. Any favorite people to follow or take inspiration from? Any specific person you would want to mention that others can follow or listen to?
Actually, I'm following Galia Wessler. She is really a very inspiring woman for me.
Wow.
She's creating her own space in industries where it's something really not easy thing. And she's blending resilience, creativity, authenticity. So again, she's a very inspiring figure for me.
Excellent.
Nice.
Amin?
A lot in different things from sports, arts, business, entrepreneurships. But yeah, usually I like to follow Khalid Habib and others. And a lot actually, Paul Graham and a lot.
Khalid is great as well. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Next question, maybe my favorite question, which is, have you heard any new idea or concept that you've heard about or learned about very recently that just intrigues you? It's just a cool idea, it's a cool concept, something that's interesting. Anything that comes to mind?
For me, actually, I'm really excited about the idea of the AI to move it from being just a tool to be a true partner for doctors. In the past, actually, the AI was like a black box. It gives you answers like ChatGPT, but you have no idea how it got you there. Again, the future is different from there. And that's something I really owe to Harvard Medical School because actually I'm taking a program there. They taught me that the future is different. The systems will actually explain why they suggested that for you, how confident the AI is, and what are the other possibilities. So it's actually like assistance rather than tools.
Yeah.
So here comes the combination between the Gen AI that understands and communicates in natural language with structured medical models.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. And then the agentic AI builds on top of that as well. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things coming there. I mean, anything that comes to mind for you?
No, just persuasion. Just leave that the word supports you in every mean. And I would say, yes, everything in our God's hand, but persuasion. Don't actually leave any moment without trying, and trying to have a more impact on whatever you do.
Excellent.
I love that. I love that. So I'll ask you guys my favorite question. What is one life philosophy you like to live by?
Okay, that's a very deep question, but mine is simple. Impact matters more titles, and the
Mm.
setbacks are never dead ends. So
Oh,
actually, I've learned that what really defines us isn't the position we hold, either whatever officer, whatever co-founder, but whatever the title is, but it's about the impact and the difference we make. And every challenge along the way is just an info. It guides us to refine, adapt, and keep moving forward with even greater clarity. So impact.
beautiful.
It's always about impact.
Love it. I mean,
Yeah, we live this life for an a mission actually. So it's better to have this mission a good faith. What is niya in English?
I'm trying to think like the best translation for it. Like kind of like
Yes, let's put that the good faith in everything, and you do everything that you have an
belief.
impact.
I'd say the belief is like a good
Yeah,
word.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That your beliefs that you are doing this really for building in this world and to have a good impact as much as you can. So what I mentioned before is to try, make the persuasion one of the main things, and let everything happens towards that. So at even and if it's imagine that you are living forever, and imagine that this is gonna be the last day in this world to go for that second one. If you have something to do to make this life better, just do it. Persuasion, and let
mm,
everything happen by itself.
beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys. The last question is on the weekends, how are you guys winding down?
Actually, I'm laughing because in the life of entrepreneurs, that you don't spend so much weekends.
No
I will.
wonder why you guys were not answering.
So,
Well,
Nana,
what is
tell
the
me when
weekend?
was your last weekend that you spent and make something for yourself?
Yeah, it's not a lot of that.
Same. Actually, we work weekends, weekdays, work every day. Actually, we have weekends only like when we have even in the national day we worked. So I cannot recall my last weekend.
Yeah, but
Always on.
honestly, yes, it's not about weekends. It's about when you have to unplug. So from time to time, we need just to unplug, make some clarity, so we can pursue our work again. But without unplugging, I don't think that we can make it. But actually, that's not about weekends for us. It's about when to unplug.
It's great. I mean, the real
Beautiful.
entrepreneurial life.
All
Exactly.
right, guys, we have made it to the end of the show. I really want to thank you guys. Thank you, Nada and Amin, for taking time out of your busy entrepreneur schedule. It has been a great conversation, and I'm sure that our listeners are going to love it.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure having you both on. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Evie and Haider. It was a pleasure meeting you.
We want to thank our sponsors for supporting the Sussex Revenue podcast. RevSetter is the #1 customer success and management platform in the Middle East region, offering global capabilities mixed with regional solutions that helps your CS, account management, and go-to-market teams 10x efficiency, improve customer experience, and turbocharge customer retention rates.
And thank you to Medlify, a leading marketplace for workers and employers in the healthcare space. Needs and demands meet, great benefits for both sides. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.